Maybe everybody go there, thinking they're going to get everything for free. So when you break off the countries into their these states
What we have to say, and maybe we can start getting some names together. Maybe we get some signatures together and living with people with the same ideologies. And there's nothing. Be honest. Now it was a party at one time. All right, how you doing? I love that intro, by the way. Sarah put that intro together. What's up, everybody? The podcast world has once again, I've graced the podcast world. I'm Johnny the Chooch with my podcast, sort of like a political podcast of some sort. Yeah, it is a political a podcast. It's not really for one side or the other, though. It's a podcast about trying to solve some problems in our divided nation of America. Again, this is Johnny the Chooch from Pennsylvania. It's February 13th, 2 days before tax day. We'll talk about that for a couple of minutes. Sarah is the producer. She produces this show. She has a website at xlhub.com, xlhub.com. You can go there, see this show. You can see a bunch of other shows she's got going on, really cool stuff. Also, if you're just looking to check her out or check out her network on social media platforms, you go to @XL Network. And that'll take you to Facebook and Instagram and things of that nature. All right, so what this is basically about, I always give a little bit of spiel why, because all three people that are watching me right now, maybe why I'm even doing this. Listen, what it is we're obviously, if you watch an ounce of TV or conscious for 2 minutes out of the day, you're going to realize that we have an divided America. So it's horrible, and everybody's looking for a way out. America is the Titanic sinking ship. And all the rats are jumping off into the boat, right into the lifeboats, trying to grab onto the lifeboat. So what I did is I came up with a website, not like a website, a website. Okay, and it's called the Ununited States of America, uuamericans.com. Okay, and it's really a website looking more or less like the partition to get maybe signatures, people to jump on and email me back and say, hey, I'm for the movement that you're creating. We're trying to create a movement to let states break away from the Union and become their own country, like Europe. So the northern continent would look like Europe. Okay. Some may say that's really hard to do, but it's really not. It's not. It's just that people don't like change, and everybody, it takes 15 years to, figure out where we're going to put a stop sign on the corner of a road. So, we're bad like that as a society in America. Everything's always back ordered, So I made this website. You go to it, read it. Basically, it's based on Article 5 of the Constitution. Article 5 of the Constitution says that the governors, 3/4 of the governors of the states, the governors can amend the Constitution, make articles, take them away, whatever the case may be. So there's an Article 5 in there that says 33, if there's 33 governors that agree to such a thing, create a new law, it can be done. And you can bypass Congress and Senate by doing that. So my thing is use Article 5, write in an article in the Constitution or amend the Constitution saying that states can become their own countries, right? They can become their own countries. They don't have to go by the American Constitution. I mean, they already have governments set up already, constitutions, but they'll be their own country. Does that Constitution or government has to apply to the one that they have? No, they can have whatever they want. Dictator, president, no government, which would be the best way to go. As you can see, I'm really a non-government person. The government of any country, especially this one, is just crooks and thieves and frauds and everything you can name it. The American government, a politician, is just a swamp of fraud and stealing taxpayers' money. And there's no there's not two parties. It's one party. They're all in on it, and I think this administration's getting in on it just as well. It's all about money and making their families and lives better on the backs of taxpayers' money. I'm an average working guy, like anybody else, getting tired of paying, getting tired of hearing all the nonsense, all the laws that nobody goes by. Nobody goes to jail for anything. It's absolutely no. You'll go to jail. No, you'll go to jail. You'll go to jail if you protect your home, or you shoot somebody and that breaks into your home and wants to kill you. They'll make sure that you have a tough time. Either go to jail or you're going to spend a lot of money staying out of it. While they continue to ravage the country, politicians continue, and the deep state continue to ravage the country. It's pretty bad. Hey, it's 2 days before tax time, and listen, it doesn't pay to make any money. I'm paying. I have to pay. It doesn't really pay to make money. I'm almost. I mean, half the country is socialist anyway, right? So we're really a socialist country. We give so much away in Medicaid and welfare and SNAP benefits that I'm going to have to pay. I'm going to pay for that once again this year because you make a couple of dollars in America and it gets sucked up. And, $1 million for every bomb that's dropped on Iran, there's 42 million people on SNAP benefits. There'll be 50 million next month. So it's ridiculous. And sometimes I don't even know if it's worth it. I don't even know if it's worth it at some point, but we'll see. We'll see. The middle class is getting swallowed up by policies and crime and immigrants and everybody else out there. So hold on to your hats. It's not going to get better. So this is sort of a solution. This is a solutions show. Hopefully, we try to give some solutions from a state's point of view, as if the state would be its own country, and then still I try to give a solution based on the country still being a country because we still are a country. So in the meantime, maybe we can try to figure out what we can do in the meantime until hopefully we get a lot of people to sign this petition so we can split away and break away and go live in the state, country, territory where we want to live with people with the same ideologies as us. And listen, either way is bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm a traditionalist. I believe in, going to work. I believe in laws and stuff like that. Yeah, I do. I believe in God, actually. I know a lot of people don't today, but I do. And but hey, is it wrong to want to sit around and smoke dope all day and do nothing? Yeah, I don't know. Is that wrong? I don't know. As long as you're not hurting anybody, and as long as you're not using my money to do it, but that's not the case. So what happens is this is a solution to break away, more or less segregate with the people you want to live with, just like in Europe, right? Each country has its own set of people and types of people and its own language and everything. So it's actually, we already have that. Each state has its own way, its own thinking. Some have accents and so it's already really that way, right? I don't think anybody really cares if people in California don't care what happens to people in Maine, right? People in Maine don't care what happens to people in Idaho. They really don't. Let's just face a fact. Let's call a spade a spade. Nobody really cares. So let's start splitting up. And of course, there's going to be legalities and things of that nature and a security issue. But Europe did it. South America does it. They got countries all over the place. Africa does it. They got countries all over through. The Russians they got theirs, and the Asians split up. Taiwan, China, Japan, Philippines. They have it. It's time for us to have it. The empire's finished. America's finished. The Constitution doesn't work. It was a great concept. whatever God's experiment was with America, trying to bring everybody together, live together. It didn't work. It's only getting worse. So let's move on. So, real quick though, a little history thing. 9 years ago, actually, a guy named Harry Turtledove, he came up with this concept. He actually came up with this concept in 1992. No, 9 years ago. It says 1992, so do the math. I don't know. So, and he talked about states splitting up and being being their own territories. The thing of it is it was fictional. He considered it a fictional thing. He did put it out there, but it was supposed to be like a movie or whatever. But he did come up with the concept. I mean, he didn't push it as much as I'm pushing it, and he didn't have any legal basis or the legal concept of using Article 5 and the governors to do this. I don't think he really went that far, but I thought that was interesting because I don't think that there are other people that probably think that Texas is one of them. Texas, it's called the Lone Star State for a reason, right? So that was that. So just want to let you know that there are other people out there that think about this. So go to the website, uuamericans.com. Let me know what you think. Let's see how many people we can get to take a petition somewhere, senator, congressman, the president, whoever, and kind of throw it in their face and say, hey, we're done with this. We're done piggybacking other countries, other people on this continent and throughout the world, and want to form our own state and our territories and live with the people that we want to live with, that have the same philosophies of life. Okay, and that could be anything. Granted, not what I'm thinking, or it could be anything. I mean, but do it, right? Give people an opportunity to do that, right? All right. So what we started talking about last time was like regulations, and that's one of the solutions that we can sort of talk about as far as the United States still being the United States, and we haven't broken up into territories yet. So listen, from a state's point of view or from a whole country's point of view, I actually retired from a township in New Jersey. I had benefits, I had a pension, I had all that, and it's all things like that go away. There's no real pension systems. The health benefits are horrible, and the government hasn't done anything about it. Uh, I think the administration this time around, from the first time around that was here, I think they were trying to figure out better way of life for people, bringing things down. I think you were trying to do it. I think this time around, he wised up, president and his administration wised up and said, we're really not going to change too much, but we're going to make sure we make a lot of money and protect the country. If you protect the country, you can do business in the country, and we're going to work a lot of international policies, and we're going to make money and bring money into the country. But you know what? I mean, at the end of the day, I really still don't think it helps the working people. It helps all the rich people, and I get it. People are greedy. People don't really want to think about anybody else. I don't even think this administration at this point really wants to. I think it's just all about business and his family making money and stuff like that. And listen. On the other hand, he's protecting the country, and he's getting a handle on immigration. That's a good thing, because that brings down the economy and ups the spending and everything of that nature. But the interior of the country, as far as our goods, services, the things that we need to live every day, I don't think we've really worked on that much. So what if I'm a politician and I had to give some advice to politicians on how to help out people, I mean, of course, from a regulation point of view, is listen, we have to have healthcare. We have to have healthcare regulated. Okay, we have to have healthcare regulated. There can be even if it's a conveyor belt factory sort of way to come in. You go here, you go here, you go to that room, you go here, you go out. You can do it. You can do it. You can have express. You can get people in and out of the hospitals, the doctors, get checked out, get their operations, and get it for a low cost or a reasonable cost. Um, but who's going to regulate that? The president, the administrations, the politicians aren't going to regulate it because it's too much making money for them. It's too much money being made. So if you cut everything down, if you watch all the spending for the regulations, then what you do is you can have all the companies or any small business, anybody making a company that makes X amount of dollars a year has to fork over some money for their employees to pay for their health benefits, which can go into a pool, okay, and then into the pool can be spread out to use to take care of people. Um, uh, Even if you have a lower end healthcare, and then the employee goes, you're allow the employee to add a little bit to what the employer is paying, they can maybe get a little better healthcare plan. But you can pool your money. You can pool your money from the businesses. They don't have an option. You regulate them for again, if your company is making X amount of dollars with X amount of employees, you will pay into a federal healthcare system, which will be regulated and overwatched. But that's the way I would do it. It can be done. Believe me, it can be done. So that's one thing you need. You have to have it. And the second thing you have to need is, of course, pensions. Okay, 401ks don't work. That's just a savings. They put it in there. We're going to match it. We're going to put it. Yeah, you got to wait for the market to go up and down, up and down. 401ks are shit, right? IRAs, all that. All this is savings accounts. Okay, pensions aren't like that. Pensions, they pool money together. They put it into a bundle. It sits there after so many years. Then you get so much out of it. Listen, the president just did something for newborn kids. He's putting money into newborns. It sits in an account, and after so many years, there's going to be so much money there. He just did it. He just did it. He just came up. I mean, that's how easy it is. So if you put in X amount of dollars for so many years, or whoever you have an account, you have a federal account. So much money goes in so many years, and you get so much out of it. So if you put, let's say $300 a month in for 30 years, you get $3,000 a month for the rest of your life after you retire at 55, right? That's another thing we have to talk about. So it can be done. It can be done. But the problem is it has to be regulated. It has to be done. You can even have companies regulate them to have them match what you put in into this, quote unquote, not their separate account where they do it independently in a sense. You would do it on a federal level, or from a state. If you're just a state or a territory like a state, like I worked for New Jersey, you can do it by state. States put in so much money, it goes into an account. Every year somebody puts in, and after 25 or 30 years, you get a pension, you get some money. You won't even need forget Social Security, because Social Security is a done. So you put everything into this one account. You can call it Social Security, no, but you can call it a pension fund, and you will get X amount of dollars when you retire. And if you retire at 55, you get it, and then of course you can work some more. But on the other end of that, so that's healthcare. You need pensions, healthcare and pensions. You need to set this up and regulate those so people can do that. They have to be able to get to work and be healthy, and they need to know that's something at the end of the day. Now, I said 55. People shouldn't be working after 55 in the sense that, if they don't want to, meaning, driving a truck, cleaning houses, being an accountant, beating on your head all day as an accountant. At some point, you get old enough, you get worn out. So what we want to do is give those people a chance to have a pension after 55, even 60. Give them a chance to collect some money, and then they can go into another part of their life, where they can, maybe if they have to work, or they could do, something different, which isn't, let's say, less physical or less strenuous. But at the end of that day, which turns into regulations and other regulations, is we need housing. We need housing for people that are older. We need housing for people that are younger. So we need housing. You need housing. There's no reason why the government can't regulate states to put up so much land, in their states to build villages and for people to live in. If with the amount of pension that they may regulate, they pay so much more, depending on their pension amount, can't live in these villages. And I don't mean, nowadays it's the HOA fee or whatever it is, and their taxes, and then the guy's got to shovel the drive. No, no, no. That's the problem. That you try to go into these retirement homes now, and everything's, a tax or a maintenance fee, and then you're back to square one. Back to square one, and they have no money to spend from their pension. You have to build those two things, healthcare and pensions, for those people through the years. And at the end of the day, they need to be able to go stay or retire somewhere in a village of some sort or a housing development that is regulated by the government, whether it's the state government or the federal government, where so much land and so much property has to be given for this. I mean, it's okay. It sounds a little bit communistic, a little bit, but at some point we have to regulate because nobody's doing it. That's the problem. We have nobody regulating anything today. There's nothing to go by. Capitalism doesn't work. That's what we started talking about last week. It doesn't work. There's nothing to go by to regulate. Nobody is undercutting anybody these days. And in products for buying and selling products, they're not undercutting everybody. They're all agreeing to sell for the same price. So you're stuck. You're stuck paying that price no matter what. And that's, we talked a little bit last time, Wi-Fi, food, eggs, milk, certain necessities, cars, necessities. There's no regulation. So the government, my thing is the government regulates, sets a regulation. They regulate it. They set the number. So they can do it for Wi-Fi. They take over the Wi-Fi. You can get government Wi-Fi for so much. The other companies can still give it to you, maybe better or more data, whatever the case may be. But the federal government needs to regulate it, so you know that you're paying, even if it's, you go for people make a certain amount of money, up to $100,000 a year, whatever the case may be. You can get government regulated services. You can get a government regulated car. Build cars. Build cars. Build government cars. Build government cars, and if you make under a certain amount, you can buy those cars. Necessity foods, milk, eggs, bread, right, rice, things of that nature. Regulated for people that maybe say make under a certain amount of money, okay, or for everybody, for that case. But you have to regulate, and the government needs to do that now, because capitalism, there is no more capitalism. Is there capitalism in the smaller sense of products, where you can buy a pair of shoes here for less than over? Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can find your deals. Go to Amazon. But Amazon right now is regulating. Ramazon right now is regulating the products, because everybody goes to Amazon, and you can see how much you can compare prices and figure out, or you can get it from them the cheapest, or you can go to the mall, figure out, hey, the mall's right here. I want to try it on. I want to wear it. I want to put it on. I actually like that pair of shoes. You can go on. Amazon regulates the prices. That's something they set the standard. That's what the government needs to do. The federal government needs to do. They need, on certain products, things, necessities people need, set the standard. Utilities. I mean, you're not going to regulate utilities. I mean, out in Pennsylvania, it's ridiculous. I mean, you're not going to regulate utilities. Really? Really? So that talks about oil a little bit, oil. So again, I talked about this last time. We got Venezuelan oil. We're taking the Iran oil. We're drill baby drilling. And we're still paying $4.30 for a gallon of gas. We're still paying $4.30. I thought it was supposed to go lower. This isn't. It's a gouge. The oil companies are gouging. Everybody's in on it. The administration's in on it. And I get it. This guy that's running the country, he's getting shot at. His fucking family's been threatened. I get it. He's going to take out what he's going to get. He's going to take it. He's going to take something. And this is the way to go. So it just goes to show you that everybody has their limit. Everybody draws their boundaries. This is his boundary. He's going to take that. So, like, I looked up what some people make in the oil business. Like ExxonMobil CEO, top CEO, makes 33 million. Shell, 16 million. BP, 14 million. Who was the biggest one? Sunoco. They were 33 million. I'm sorry, ExxonMobil was 44 million. So these guys are averaging $20 million a year. I mean, so they're making 20. The average for those four companies, I just did those four companies, is 20 mil a year per top CEO. Then there's 15 other guys under them making half of that. So that's why your gas is $4 a gallon or $4.50 a gallon, because they're not going to take a cut. They're not going to take a cut. And in the administration, the president, he's going to get his cut. So everybody's going to get their cut. They're going to tell you that there's a war and that we need to spend more money when we should be. I mean, there's a war and we can't get oil through the channels and everything like that, which only 5%, 6%, 8% of the oil goes through that channel. So the other 92% of the oil comes from us or Russia, or whatever the case may be. So, but they're still telling you gas has to be over $4 a gallon. So it's a joke. It's a joke. He's tripping if he doesn't think people care. And he's going to lose the midterms. He's absolutely going to lose the midterms. And you know what? He doesn't care. He doesn't care at this point because he's getting his cut. He's getting his cut, So, to regulate gas, there's no reason why at this point, with everything that's going on, you regulate gas at $2 a gallon. $2 a gallon. But you know what? They can't, because everybody I mentioned that's making their millions, they're going to cry. They're going to, because they got to pay their yachts off, their mistresses, the three families they got around the world, so they got to pay off everybody, and so they're not going to take a cut, So we went into regulations. Let me, we only do like a half-hour show, so I only got like 3 minutes left. So, I mean, listen, someday we get a sponsor or something and we do a 3-hour show. I can do a lot more homework and be a little more specific about monies and how things. But bottom line is we need a regulator. The federal government should be regulating certain necessities for people so they have a shot. And we definitely need to regulate healthcare and pensions, which can be done, but nobody cares about anybody. And that's why you go to uuamericans.com, file a petition. Let's break up into territories, into separate countries, because you can manage with people that you want to manage with, and you can run, your state, your country the way you want it. And it's easier to govern people in smaller populations than it is. This is a runaway train. America's a runaway train. Constitution doesn't work. The empire is broken. It is splintered off into all factions. We have a one-party government. This government, these people you see every day on TV fighting amongst each other, they're not going to eat their own. They're not going to eat their own. And that's why, real quick, I got a couple minutes left. Fraud in California, fraud in Minnesota, fraud all over the place. Billions and billions of dollars. Nobody's getting arrested. Nobody's going to get in trouble. It's a big shit show. It's just it's the surreal life. It's a TV show. It's Hollywood entertainment, and unfortunately, we're the viewers, but we're using our money to sponsor everything they're doing. So no, there's no rules, no laws. Nobody goes by anything anymore, including mostly the politicians. Let me tell you something. I owe money to the IRS. It's due in 2 days. I got to go put a check in the mail tomorrow. I got to get out. My accountant says get your money to them, because if I'm late, they'll lock up my accounts. They'll be sending me letters. They're going to take the money out of my accounts. But let me tell you something. Billions of dollars are missing in states, and everybody doesn't know what's going on. So it's it's, 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 America's over. Done. So let's do something about it. Let's split up the countries. I mean, split up the states into separate countries. I really had a lot of other notes here too. I really did. I started writing a bunch of stuff out, and, But like I say, I don't have that kind of staying power. Nobody knows who I am. Okay, I'm just out here. Really, the main objective is just go to my website and go to Sarah's the xlhub.com, xlhub.com. You can go see this show and other shows, and then you can go to the @XL Network. And Sarah has, she's on all the social platforms, and you can check out, I guess, anything she has going on there. And all right, I hope I got through this a little bit about regulating and somebody setting the number, setting the line as far as spending. The government should do that because capitalism is over in America. Nobody's going to set the price. They're just going to keep agreeing on all the companies to sell high, and they're all going to agree to it, and we're going to be stuck with it. So the only way you're going to get out of this, uuamericans.com. All right. Thank you. Hopefully, if you watched for 30 seconds, that's great. 30 seconds more than I thought anybody would ever watch. It's Johnny the Chooch from Pennsylvania. Everybody go do your taxes and pay your government so they can give it to the fraud, to all the politician frauds. Okay, see you next time. We're going to talk about something else. Okay, guys? The Chooch, over and out.